After being betrayed and harmed by the fake daughter and her family, I woke up again. I had come back to a time before I was officially recognized as their biological child. Looking at my loving foster parents right in front of me, I couldn't help but feel teary-eyed. All the happiness from my past life ended when I was just 4 years old. My mother gently stroked her belly and asked me, "Emily, would you like a little brother or sister to play with?" Hearing the same words as in my previous life, tears slipped down my cheeks. Mom pulled me into her arms and said, "Sweetheart, why are you crying? Are you not wanting a little brother or sister?" I quickly shook my head. "I do want one. I really want a little brother or sister." Dad chimed in. "So is it because of something else? Did you think Dad didn't buy you ice cream?" I nodded along with the excuse right away. I used to love eating ice cream as a kid, but it often upset my stomach, so they always limited how much I could have. They didn't suspect anything then. They just laughed at me for being such a sweet tooth. Ice cream is too cold, and eating too much isn't good. How about we just have half a box? Okay. Stay home and watch your cartoons. Emily, Mom and I will go out for a quick errand and bring you back some ice cream when we're done. I knew they were going to the hospital for a checkup. In my past life, I stayed home quietly, but I never saw my parents return. A sudden accident took away the people I loved most. After my parents were gone, I learned from relatives that I wasn't actually their biological child. I was a baby they found in a trash bin, almost frozen to death during a snowstorm. Because of this, no family members wanted to adopt me, so I ended up at an orphanage. 12 years later, my real parents from the Shun family finally came to claim me, but by then, there was already a beloved fake daughter in their home. Victoria was born during that same snowy night, just as I had nearly died in the cold. The Shun family's parents, brother, and younger brother all protected her fiercely, worried she'd be hurt by my return. Thinking of this, I quickly stepped in to stop them. "Mom, can you go tomorrow instead? I really want you to play puzzles with me." The usually well-behaved and thoughtful girl suddenly acted stubborn, refusing to let them leave no matter what. My parents didn't want me to feel replaced by a new sibling, so they decided to stay. This time around, my real parents are still here, and I have no desire to go back to the Shun family. They always said Victoria was so innocent and kind-hearted, didn't they? Then I hope they all stay happy and close together. At that time, I had no idea about my true origins. I grew up healthy and happy, just like any ordinary child. My mother was a high school Chinese teacher, and my father taught history at a university. In a family of public servants, not putting in your best effort felt almost like betraying your teachers. In my past life, Victoria excelled academically, but I had never received much proper education. The Shun family often compared her to me. I studied hard, just hoping to gain their approval. But when I showed them my excellent report card, the Shun family parents barely reacted. Henry mocked me relentlessly. "What's the point of trying? You're just an outsider no matter what you do. You'll never be as good as my sister." He himself struggled in school, yet he constantly used Victoria to belittle me. On the day of the college entrance exam, Victoria hired someone to intercept me on the way. I was lucky enough to escape, but I still missed my first exam. I told Franklin and Zoe that Victoria was behind it all, but they accused me. "Don't falsely accuse Victoria. Maybe you're just trying to ruin her exam mood on purpose." Later, the police caught the person who attacked me, but he stubbornly claimed he was acting alone. How did I know it was Victoria behind it? She admitted it herself. Why wouldn't she show off to me? The Shun family has 2 sons, the eldest Nolan and the younger Henry. Nolan is widely recognized as a prodigy, admired by all elite families' young heirs. The Shun family spoils Victoria to the fullest, but Nolan remains unquestionably the heir. He treats people with kindness and grace, yet I always feel there's something I can't quite understand about him. Though he's very protective of Victoria, he's always been gentle toward me and never intentionally made things hard. At least he's nothing like Henry, who often brings others to harass me at school. Henry is my blood brother by family ties, yet he's never shown me the slightest respect. I believe there's something seriously wrong with him. I'm not saying that to insult him. It's just a fact. When Henry fights, he goes completely wild, as if losing all control. He's furious, reckless, and utterly out of control. He acts like a wild dog trained by Victoria. Victoria just cries and says I'm bullying her. And then Nolan gathers a group of friends to take revenge on my behalf. They'd lock me in the bathroom, hide dead mice in my desk, and dump my backpack into the sink. These were just regular tactics. I had to endure their bullying and physical attacks. Then Victoria would kindly speak up on my behalf. But was Nolan really just acting to defend his beloved sister? Not entirely. I once told the Shun family's parents about Henry's bad behavior, and they promised me they'd take action. But as soon as Henry claimed I was bullying Victoria, I ended up being punished instead. This life, I've gained a new little brother, Leo. He was the soul from my past life, one who never got to be born. My relationship with Leo is like a typical sibling bond, full of playful rivalry and affection. I might give him a good scolding now and then, but I'd never go too far. He keeps pulling pranks on me, but he still knows where to draw the line. Because I've lived this life before. I've always had a level of maturity and clarity beyond my years. I convinced my parents to invest in stocks and real estate. First, they didn't believe me, thinking I was just making things up. After missing 2 chances to make money, they started hesitantly listening to my advice. And sure enough, we made a profit. I had a lot of economics books in my room, and my parents just thought I was naturally gifted in business. That money later became the seed funding for my own business venture. My parents were puzzled. How could 2 teachers like them raise such a sharp-minded young entrepreneur? Though I didn't want to admit it, I did learn a lot from Franklin during my time at Shin Group. At that time, Victoria was studying art and later boldly entered the entertainment industry. She had no time to look after me for now. I took the chance to strengthen my own abilities. By then, I had already stopped expecting anything from the Shun family, and no longer felt hurt by their favoritism. Since I couldn't get love or support from them, I decided to make use of the resources within the Shun family instead. I stayed close to Franklin and my older brother, improving my professional skills, expanding my network, and gathering valuable connections. Even if I ever had to leave the Shun family behind, I knew I could still build a good life elsewhere. But they still wouldn't let me go. A kidnapping happened. Victoria and I were both taken at the same time. They chose to save Victoria and left me behind, letting me fall from the cliff. That kidnapping was definitely planned in advance. But I'm certain Victoria couldn't have done it alone. She simply didn't have the power to pull something like that off by herself. Back then, her biggest harm toward me was using family affection to pressure me or making casual remarks in public. Nothing more than that could she do. Besides, I was already on high alert around her, so she couldn't hurt me anymore. So there must be something I overlooked. I attended the city's high school, while Victoria was at a private acade. In our sophomore year, Victoria and her brother Henry were exposed for bullying classmates. Back then, they targeted more than just me. Victoria wanted to keep up her image as a kind and graceful heiress, so she only played the part of someone being mistreated. Henry would then gather people to settle things on her behalf. Camila was the top student at the private school, a girl from a humble background, with a delicate appearance and quiet personality. She was admitted as a special talent student, which meant her tuition was fully covered. Camila's reason for attending the private school was crystal clear. Her mother was seriously ill. The top student at the private school received a U.S. scholarship every year, not counting additional competition prizes. If she managed to become the city's top scorer in the college entrance exam, the school would offer even more rewards. She naturally had a pure, delicate look, and was genuinely independent and hardworking, earning her own money to help treat her mother. Victoria disliked anyone who drew attention away from her. Camila was quiet and timid, afraid of causing trouble, and never spoke up when she was mistreated. I couldn't save myself before, but this time I can help her. The weak inspire pity, and the capable draw attention, and Camila has both of these traits. Countless netizens spoke up for her, and education authorities began taking notice as well. In the end, Henry was dismissed from school. The Shun family shifted all blame onto him. Netizens also strongly criticized him online. Didn't he always favor his older sister the most? Then let him experience the pain of favoritism and injustice. In a past life, Victoria had a romantic relationship and went to a hotel with someone. The news somehow spread, causing whispers among the elite family's children. Victoria broke down in tears afterward. So everyone in the Shun family pressured me into taking the blame for her. I had no choice but to agree. They'd already spread the word that it was me who went to the hotel. Henry looked completely unbothered as he said, "My sister has always been well regarded. You've never had a good reputation. Putting you forward to protect her is clearly the smartest move. Now that the same situation has happened to him, how does it feel?" Victoria excels academically and is the family's favorite child. Henry was just a wealthy young man who didn't know how to do anything except spend money. It made perfect sense for him to take the blame. The Shun family paid a large sum of money to settle things with Camila. With her mother's medical expenses covered, Camila transferred to City No. High School. Funny, a student with such great grades. Every school would want to recruit someone like that. I remember she actually earned the top score in the city back then. Almost perfect marks. It was unreal. But just one day after receiving her acceptance letter, she passed away at home. By the time Nolan started college, he was already skilled at handling company affairs for Franklin. The Shun family ran a business in beauty products and clothing. In a past life, Nolan wanted to buy a skincare company because he was interested in their anti-aging formula, but the owners refused to sell, so he bribed factory workers to add harmful substances during production. Many users suffered allergic reactions, and some even experienced serious skin damage. There were widespread complaints. The company ended up in legal trouble and faced huge financial penalties, forcing them to sell the formula. I reached out to Edwin, the head of that company, ahead of time. He might not believe me, but he'd definitely stay cautious. As for his contact info, it came from my past life. When that company got into trouble back then, I didn't pay much attention. It wasn't until years later, when he came after Nolan for revenge, that I finally learned the truth. By then though, he no longer had the power to stand up to the Shun family. I thought Edwin would wait for the spy to make a move and catch them red-handed, but I never expected him to be even more calculated than I imagined. Instead of stopping it, he waited until the skincare products were sold and public outrage had grown, then brought evidence to take the Shun family to court. Good thing I didn't reveal my identity. I really don't want to cross paths with someone like him. The Shun group's reputation dropped sharply, and they had to not only compensate Edwin's company, but also face claims from the public. Camila stayed in touch with some of her old classmates. She told me that the Shun family had cut the kids' allowances by more than half. Logically speaking, even if the Shun family paid a large amount in compensation, it shouldn't have come to cutting the children's pocket money. But unfortunately, Victoria and Henry had always spent recklessly, wasting money on things that weren't necessary. Victoria didn't need much explanation. She'd been raised with every luxury imaginable, treated like royalty at home, used to getting anything she wanted. Henry lived for food, drinks, and entertainment. The amount involved was nothing serious to the Shun family, but he cared deeply about appearances and loved being praised by others. Had a long list of so-called friends. They all treated him like an easy target. Victoria naturally threw a fit, so she took her younger brother's share without hesitation. As for the Shun family parents and their eldest son Nolan, they didn't see it as an issue. They continued to favor her just like always. But Victoria has been in a poor mood lately. She can't spend freely anymore, and she's also being isolated at school. When the Shun family faced trouble, she was dragged into criticism as well. The bullying incident completely ruined her reputation. Without enough money, her usual followers started to lose loyalty. Feeling down, she always needed someone to take it out on. Franklin and Zoe were her only real support. She wouldn't dare do anything to her older brother, so that left my dear little brother. In my previous life, when I returned to the Shun family and got the bank card from my parents, I was overwhelmed with gratitude, and even thought they'd given me too much. Later, I found out that amount was only a tenth of what Victoria had access to. Afterward, she falsely accused me of stealing her jewelry and selling it for money. To make things right for her, Henry pushed me down the stairs without warning. I suffered a concussion and stayed in the hospital for weeks, but never received an apology. Zoe even punished me further, saying she wouldn't send money anymore. With no money at all, I couldn't even afford basic purchases, let alone a bus fare. Henry mocked. Deserved it. Just another one from the lower class. Should really change that greedy attitude. But this time, I feel sorry for Henry. His situation is far better than mine in my previous life, though I wonder if he has the same mindset as me. If he's still willing to accept it all without complaint, then never mind what I said. Sibling bond, clearly. I wasn't worthy. Still, I wished them well. After the college entrance exam, I finally got into Beijing University with Camila. She was the city's top scorer. Just like in my past life, I studied finance and had years of business experience, so these courses came naturally to me. In my previous life, Victoria also attended a top domestic university, while Henry, due to poor performance, was sent abroad by the Shen family. Now, due to multiple setbacks, Victoria failed her college entrance exam and chose to study overseas. She had strong academic potential and could have easily entered a domestic bachelor's program, but people like her simply can't stand mediocrity. Meanwhile, Henry didn't go abroad. He ended up attending a community college. Although the Shen family isn't as powerful as before, they're still well able to afford 2 children's overseas education. I haven't figured out what internal conflicts they might have yet. In my first year of college, I founded a company called Morning Light, focusing on the internet industry. I never forgot about creating obstacles for the Shen family, since I was well acquainted with their business operations. I made sure to avoid meeting any members of the Shen family directly. It wasn't until my senior year that I ran into Franklin and Nolan at a social gathering. 22. I finally came face to face with the Shen family again. After work, I came home and found the Shen family couple and Nolan already waiting in my house. Zoe burst into tears as soon as she saw me and tried to hug me, but I stepped back quickly. Dad, Mom, who are they? My parents looked uneasy and hadn't even started speaking when Zoe spoke up first. Dear, we're your real parents. I've finally found you after all this time. I kept pretending I knew nothing about my origins, and naturally acted the part now. Huh. I gave a blank look. My parents asked them to sit down and talk calmly first. My mom took my hand and explained the story of adopting me over 20 years ago. I frowned deeply after hearing it, clearly not ready to accept what was being said. My parents looked worried. The Shen family couple had tears in their eyes, and Nolan stayed expressionless but kept his gaze fixed on me. Only Leo seemed completely unaffected. Emily, you really aren't our biological child. I held my mom's hand and said, Mom, Dad, we've lived together for so many years now. I'm grown up already. Why bring up the past? Isn't our family doing well? My tone was sharp, clearly annoyed at whoever was disrupting my family's peace. Franklin and Zoe both looked uneasy. My dad spoke up to comfort me. Emily, don't worry, you'll always be our child. No matter what you do, we'll stand by you. Mom added, even though I didn't give birth to you, I've raised you from childhood. You and Leo mean the same to me. I looked toward the Shen family sitting across from us and asked, then how can we be sure they're really my family? Who knows if they're not just pretending? The words came out harsh, but it's understandable for someone who's just been shaken by the news. Back when the Shen family first came to the orphanage looking for me in my past life, they weren't crying like this at all. In fact, Victoria was bawling as if she'd lost both parents, while Zoe tried to comfort her. Henry looked down his nose at me and said, Is this country bumpkin really my sister? Could she even be a fraud? Since Franklin and Zoe stayed silent, Nolan spoke up first. Hello, little sister. I'm your older brother Nolan. To explain, when Mom gave birth at the hospital, you were accidentally switched with another baby. The Shen family also had a daughter named Victoria. She was the one who ended up being swapped with you back then. Recently, we realized Victoria wasn't our real child. We saw you at a business event. You look just like Mom. And you were born on the same day as Victoria. So we did some checking. Lies. Victoria was 16 when they found out she wasn't their real daughter. Which is why they went looking for me at the orphanage. This time I didn't go to the orphanage. So they probably gave up when they couldn't find me. I regained my composure and asked. My parents only had one child, Leo. That means it wasn't a mix-up. Where did Victoria come from? Zoe explained. Victoria is the daughter of the family's nanny. So it wasn't a mistake. Someone deliberately replaced her. She wanted me gone. I studied Nolan closely. Your earlier explanation was clearly covering for Victoria. Zoe quickly defended Victoria. Emily, we've wronged you all these years. But Victoria is innocent too. Nolan seemed more level-headed and changed the subject. Little sister, don't worry. We've already had that nanny imprisoned. Anyone who hurt you won't go unpunished. That was quick. In my past life, it took me a lot of effort to get that woman locked up. The Shin family was afraid the nanny would have a criminal record, which could harm Victoria's future. But they also didn't want her connected to Victoria anymore. So they tried paying her off quietly. Later I reported it to the police, but that only made the Shin family more suspicious of me. Don't call me little sister. I'm not even sure I'm really related. That's a nickname he only ever used for Victoria. Nolan smiled gently. I'm just being too eager. If you don't believe me, we can take a DNA test. He's always had that calm, gentle presence, like the kind older brother everyone wants to trust. Is Victoria the actress? I suddenly asked. Yet, she's filming elsewhere and couldn't make it back to see you. But don't worry, Victoria's married now. From now on, you'll be the only daughter in our family. And your mom and I will make up for everything we've missed. Zoe held my hand tightly, tears in her eyes. My dear child, come home with me. I didn't know what to say. No, I'm happy living with the Lin family. Are you still upset with us? Do you not want to accept your mother? Franklin stepped in. Enough now. Emily's reaction is natural. This kind of news takes time to process. Then he turned to me. Emily, no matter what, I am your real father. If you don't believe me, we can start with a DNA test. Under my parents' insistence, I went through the DNA test with members of the Shin family. They truly hoped I'd find my true parents. The results were clear and straightforward. We all had dinner together, but I stayed distant the whole time. The Shin family asked again if I'd come live with them, and I turned it down. Once home, I gathered news articles about the Shin family over the years and showed them to my parents one by one. Ever since Edwin's legal case, the Shin group has been declining steadily and kept facing setbacks. They've nearly mortgaged all their family assets, except for the Shin family villa and ancestral home. The Shin group is on the verge of collapse and urgently needs a large amount of funding. That's why I know so clearly, because I played a part in it. And the other half of the credit definitely goes to Victoria, who they all saw as innocent and kind-hearted, helping her husband undermine her own family business. Yes, that's exactly something she'd be capable of doing. In a past life, I returned to the Shin family early on, and Victoria held strong resentment toward me, always afraid I'd take everything away. The Shin family's tolerance gave her even more confidence. This time, since I didn't go back, she must be even more terrified. It's the unknown that causes the greatest fear. For 6 years, she has constantly reminded herself, what if I come back one day? Then all she's gained will be gone. So she quickly arranged a marriage with the Fu family, willing to give up Shin family assets to them, even betraying Shin group to cling tightly to the Fu family's support. From Nolan's attitude, it seems they're still being misled by Victoria. They must have thoroughly checked my identity before coming here, deliberately sending the maid to prison, even ignoring Victoria's future. Wasn't that just out of fear I might be upset? My parents don't know about my past life, but I need to warn them not to trust the Shin family people too much. Mom and Dad, the Shin family secretly searched for their missing daughter 6 years ago, yet they claim they only just discovered me recently. Clearly, they were deliberately misleading me. They knew about the child being switched 6 years ago, but only recently sent that maid to prison and raised her daughter like a treasure. never once thinking of seeking justice for me. It's obvious they never cared at all. Mom hesitated. Really? What would they possibly gain from that? Dad flipped through the documents, his expression serious. If this information is accurate, Shin Group really is a company with no moral standards. Emily runs her own business. Getting involved with them would bring no benefit at all. Leo thought ahead. Sis, do you think they might be planning to sell you off for money to an older man? Mom shot him a sharp look. What are you even talking about? Isn't that how it always goes in stories? Business alliances for profit. I gave a small laugh. It's not entirely impossible. You don't have to worry too much. I know what I'm doing. I just wanted to give you all a heads up. Franklin and Nolan were busy with company matters, so they only managed to visit me a few times. Nolan brought a few pieces of diamond jewelry that girls usually like, but I recognized them as items belonging to Victoria. They couldn't afford expensive jewelry anymore, but choosing plain ones would seem too careless. When I first returned to the Shin family in my past life, Nolan gave me a bracelet worth 20,000 yuan. I was amazed and deeply touched, even feeling he'd gone overboard with generosity. Then I accidentally overheard Victoria's sarcastic remark, "Brother, you give Emily such a cheap bracelet after she came back. Won't she be upset? After all, one of my clothes costs 300,000. Hearing the word cheap, I felt hurt, but I didn't get angry. It was still my brother's intention. After all, then Nolan said, "What do you mean by cheap?" Considering her past living conditions, 20,000 was already an enormous amount. If it weren't for us bringing her back, she might still be struggling to survive. She should be grateful. In his eyes, I didn't deserve anything better. Franklin brought over the share transfer documents and said he wanted to give me 10% of the company's shares. I refused every single thing they offered. If it had been years ago, I might have needed it, but now, I can afford things myself. Franklin looked deeply regretful and said, "We were wrong for not finding you sooner. Your father only wanted to make up for the past. Even if you'd found me earlier, I might not have come back with you. After all, these years have been good for me. Money couldn't move me, so they shifted to emotional appeals. Zoe came to the Lin family every day, talking with my mother about things from my childhood. After all, she was my biological mother. Seeing her concern for me, my mom treated her politely in return. Every time she saw me, Zoe would pull me aside to share how sorry she felt. In a past life, I suffered greatly in the orphanage. She didn't feel much remorse back then. A month later, I began to warm up to her more. She smoothly brought up the idea of staying here for a while to build our bond. I arranged a guest room for her. Emily, is the mattress too firm? And this room doesn't get much sunlight. The decor isn't very appealing. Plus the lighting, it's a bit off. I gave a soft laugh. Not really. We're doing just fine here. That morning, I was just about to head out for work. Mom and Dad, I've scheduled your health checkup, don't forget. Camila will come pick you up soon. Got it. I'll remember. Zoe noticed and quietly asked, Emily, I haven't been feeling well lately. Can I come along too? I wouldn't have noticed if she hadn't said anything. In my past life, Zoe was always radiant. She'd get regular treatments, wore plenty of jewelry, never wore outdated clothes, and lived a very luxurious lifestyle. Now she looked worn out, dressed simply in old-fashioned outfits from years back, with no jewelry at all. Sweetheart, this checkup was booked ahead of time. Maybe you could come next time instead. She gave a reluctant nod. Okay. Next time was just an empty promise. Back in my past life, when I returned to the Shin family, everyone said they'd make it up to me. Words that sounded much better than reality. But all they ever did was talk. It never turned into real action. They took Victoria on trips abroad. We'll take you next time, they'd say. They thought my clothes were too low-end to match their standards. Next time, I'll take you shopping. Everything Victoria has, you'll have too. People in the circle were talking about my background and status. In a few days, I'll host a gathering to officially introduce you. Zoe took me to an important event and surprisingly bought me a set of jewelry. Since Victoria liked it, She gave it to her right away. I'll get another set for you as a replacement. None of them came true. I can't even count how many promises I've been given in my past lives. Just as I finished speaking, Camila arrived. She greeted my parents. Zoe's expression turned tense when she saw her. Emily, who is she? I acted as if I hadn't noticed, introducing her with a smile. This is Camila, my closest friend and a well-known neurology specialist. Actually, she's on duty at the hospital today, so she stopped by to pick up my parents. Camila greeted her politely, as if she hadn't recognized her at all. Zoe gave an awkward reply before quickly retreating back to her room. That evening after work, I purposely went to the luxury store and bought the latest fashion clothes and handbags, then swept through the jewelry shop. Mom has always disliked such luxury items. Back when she was given similar gifts before, they just ended up gathering dust. But this time, I made sure to get everything exactly according to Zoe's tastes. Zoe's eyes lit up the moment she saw the shopping bags. Emily, what on earth did you buy so much of? She greeted me with a bright smile. Mom sat on the sofa and glanced over them, sighing, "Not again, why keep spending money like this? I told you not to waste it. Save something for yourself." I nodded at Zoe and walked past her to sit beside Mom. I playfully told her, "Oh, Mom, they were all gifts from business partners. Just a small token of appreciation for you. You're not fooling me, you probably spent a fortune again." "Right. Duh. It was my thoughtfulness." So Mom opened each one to take a look. "I don't really have any events where I'd wear these bags." I chuckled lightly. "Then just carry them to the grocery store. These jewels are better kept for you." "Mom, they're too fancy for me. I don't fit that style at all." Zoe jumped in quickly. "Oh wow, isn't this the new necklace from Elle? It's not flashy at all, perfect with a formal dress." She was explaining the brands to my mom, who listened attentively and politely. Finally, Zoe added pointedly, "I've always liked buying jewelry from this brand. That's just..." My mom was about to say something. I spoke up, "Auntie, I'm not sure what you like, so I only bought something for my mom. I'll take you shopping in a few days." "Good. Good. Emily is such a thoughtful daughter." She forced a faint smile, her eyes still fixed on the shopping bags. My mom gently nudged me and gave me a subtle look. It meant that since my real mom was here, I should at least show some gesture by giving something. I pretended not to notice and pulled out a few more boxes. The ones earlier were just for Zoe to see. This one right here is what I bought for my mom. She didn't like diamonds, but she had a deep fondness for jade and emerald. When I opened the box, she was clearly delighted. "Oh my, this jade bracelet and emerald earrings are really nice, elegant and understated. I had someone help me find a few good pieces of jade. Let's go shopping this weekend. I don't know much about them, so I might get fooled easily." She joked. "Sure thing. My sharp eyes will spot any trickery right away." My mom and I chatted while opening the gifts, with Zoe sitting quietly nearby, watching silently. That night, Zoe found me privately. "Emily, when are you going to take me for that checkup you mentioned last time?" she asked. I furrowed my brow. "Auntie, I don't see anything wrong with your health, but I just haven't been feeling well lately. I've never lived like this before." My expression darkened. "What do you mean?" "Auntie, if you're not happy with how things are here, then it's fine to leave." She quickly explained. "That's not what I meant. I've just been exhausted these past few days. Why don't you take Mom for a massage sometime? And if possible, I'd also like to get a facial. I really don't have the time right now, let's talk about it later." Zoe looked deeply hurt. "You always find time to pick out jewelry for your adoptive mother, but never for your real one." "Enough," I said sharply. "How could you possibly compare? She saved my life and raised me for years. Even after having a younger brother, she still treated me as her own. You've never cared for me at all. What right do you have to measure yourselves against my adoptive parents?" Zoe had never been treated so harshly before. Franklin rarely got involved in daily matters, and she was always used to having her way. Her 3 children all doted on her. Her face twisted with anger, and there was clear disdain in her voice. They're just two teachers. You're getting support from them. You can pay them a sum to show your gratitude so they won't hold on to you. We're the ones who share your blood. And I'm the one who gave birth to you. I pulled away coldly. Let me make this clear, Lin family is my true home. And I only recognize them as my parents. If you can't respect my family, then there's no need for the Shun family to stay in touch with me. Zoe looked utterly broken, tears streaming down her face as she walked away. Henry arrived. It was the first time I'd ever seen him, and I almost didn't recognize him. He no longer carried the air of a noble-born young master, nor did he show arrogance when asserting dominance. When facing me, he was no longer condescending or dismissive. He was quiet, expressionless, and seemed hesitant and uneasy. Henry graduated from a junior college last year, just as he did in his previous life, without any notable skills or talents. This time around, the Shin family couldn't let him continue living like a carefree young heir with unlimited spending power. He's now working as Victoria's assistant. That's right. This once privileged heir of the Shin family is now serving as a personal aide to his adoptive sister. Zoe explained. Victoria said he should start as an assistant to gain some real-world experience. Once the right moment comes, she'll bring him into the entertainment industry. Fu Group is a well-known entertainment company, and Victoria is now the young mistress of the Fu family. It should be easy for Henry to enter the entertainment industry, so why is he still working as an assistant? Unless Victoria never intended to give him any real opportunities, being an assistant might not be so bad. Though, isn't this exactly what he used to enjoy doing? It's almost like staying true to his roots. I stepped forward and greeted Henry. So you're Lin Chuan? He glanced up at me briefly, then spoke softly. Sister. In his past life, he'd never once called me sister. I smiled and handed him the new phone I just bought. I heard you like playing games. This phone has great specs for that. Zoe couldn't help but beam with delight. Ever since our last argument, things had been tense between us, but now she seemed to see a chance to reconnect. Siblings really do get along better, Lin Chuan. Make sure you get along well with your Emily sister. Henry took the phone shyly. Thanks, sis. Leo just got home from school and immediately snapped. Emily. That phone was supposed to be mine. Henry looked completely flustered. I nodded. It was for you. But now Lin Chuan's here. Then go buy it for him next time. You promised to get me a new phone if I improved my grades. I studied nonstop for 3 months. 3 whole months. Are you even human? Mom stepped in. Leo. No talking back. Lin Chuan is practically your brother. Henry pulled back slightly. I'm sorry, I don't want it after all. I gently pushed the phone back into his hands. It's okay, just keep it. You're my brother too. I gave Leo a playful tap on the head. We just met, so giving him a welcome gift isn't a big deal. Can't you be a little generous? Henry's eyes flickered with surprise, clearly not expecting me to side with him. Humph. Leo stormed upstairs. Henry looked a little worried. Sis, did I make him angry? I gave a light laugh. It's not your fault. Go on. Open it and see if you like it. After so long without feeling special attention, Henry happily opened the phone. Thank you, sis. A little while later, Leo came running back down the stairs. The earlier annoyance was gone, and a smile had returned to his face. He still held another phone just like the one Henry had. Hey, sis. I knew you wouldn't be unfair. I rolled my eyes. Just a joke. Did you really take it that seriously? I knew Henry was coming, so I bought an extra phone. I placed it in his room ahead of time. Now, Henry stared at the phone in his hands. Holding it felt awkward, but letting go seemed wrong too. But in an instant, he realized that the special treatment had just been a playful trick between me and Leo. That evening, while having dinner, the conversation turned to Leo's grades. Zoe asked, is Leo about to take the college entrance exam? How are his grades? My mom said, they're decent. He should be able to get into a top-tier university, though he's not quite up to Emily's level. She graduated from Peking University after all. When it came to academic performance, parents couldn't help but feel proud. Zoe said, really? Emily is so accomplished. My eldest son also graduated from Peking University. No surprise they're siblings. Victoria did well too, but she insisted on studying performing arts overseas. Still, she's become a major star now. Henry, who hadn't been mentioned once throughout the conversation, sat with his head down, barely touching his food. I quietly kept an eye on him and piled more of his favorite dishes onto his plate. He was surprised by the gesture and didn't even question how I knew what he liked. Henry would be staying here for a few days, and Zoe said we should spend some time getting closer as siblings. After dinner, I played 2 rounds of video games with Leo. Playing games can lead to disagreements, and after losing, I got so frustrated I ended up wrestling with him. I had the upper hand. How did you even play that round? You're blaming me. It was totally your fault. Zoe urged my mom to step in and stop it. Oh, come on. Emily's a girl. How could she be allowed to rough her up like that? My mom didn't care at all. Leave it alone. Whoever loses, they'll deal with the consequences. Henry watched from the side, clearly envious. In the Shun family, no one dared speak sharply to Victoria. Anyone who makes Victoria cry faces punishment from the entire family. This parenting approach simply isn't fair. It's possible to love each child equally, yet they choose to show excessive favoritism by elevating one while putting another down. Everyone in the family spoils Victoria. It's not about having too little, but about fairness. Favoritism naturally leads to resentment. Nolan is the heir to the family, so he doesn't mind showing extra affection to his sister. But what about Henry? In a past life, I had vaguely sensed his jealousy, but since Victoria was favored, he didn't dare speak up. Besides, I'm the one at the very bottom of the family hierarchy, someone he can still look down on. That's also one reason why he bullied me. He was jealous. He was afraid I consistently outperform him, and he fears my position in the family might one day surpass his. So he uses Victoria as an excuse to undermine me and treat me poorly, just to feel superior. After finishing my match with Leo, I asked Nolan to come upstairs with me to the second-floor server room. This space is mostly Leo's private domain. Equipped with a full set of electronic devices, Leo had collected many vintage gaming consoles that were no longer in production. Even though few people played them now, he loved studying their mechanics, so I helped him track down a few rare ones. When Henry walked in, his face was full of admiration. I knew that feeling all too well. Back in my previous life, after staying at the Shun family's guest quarters for a few days, I saw Victoria's beautifully furnished large room, and felt exactly the same way. Henry loved gaming, and that hadn't changed from one life to the next. Leo had also been passionate about games since childhood. When my father found out, he didn't stop him, but he also didn't let him go unchecked. He guided him toward creating his own games instead. During school breaks, I arranged courses for him to learn basic computer skills and software development. Leo became interested too and even wrote a simple game program of his own, meeting like-minded friends along the way. After playing a few rounds with Leo, Henry came out still wanting more. These past few days, I've been taking Henry out shopping whenever I had time, buying him things he liked. Zoe was happy to see it all unfold. Noticing his clothes were worn out, I took him shopping for new ones. When he said how much he admired the gaming consoles in Leo's room, I took him to buy an identical set. He liked Leo's watch, so the next day I gave him one just like it. In the end, I wanted him to experience the kind of care Victoria had always received. The one who once dared not even own a phone was now overwhelmed by someone willing to fulfill all his desires without condition. Henry felt both touched and uneasy, gradually opening up to me. He hinted vaguely that Victoria hadn't treated him well. I was surprised. How could that be? Victoria's a kind and gentle person. Why would you say such things about her? As I said those words, I felt like laughing, but I held it back. He muttered quietly, "How do you even know she's kind and gentle?" I looked completely innocent. Zoe said so, and I've been into her dramas now and then. She's actually someone I really like. Those are all just delusions. She's great at pretending. Even the image she shows to the public is fake. No way. Henry lowered his head, defeated and silent. He'd probably told his family about this many times before. Now he just didn't expect anything anymore. I pressed further. Victoria might just have a short temper. After all, she's been like an older sister to you for years. You shouldn't assume the worst. He gave a bitter smile. If only I'd had someone like you by my side all these years. A small smile tugged at my lips, but my eyes were filled with mockery. Henry's situation reminded me most of my past life, but he had it much better than I ever did. After returning home, Zoe suddenly suggested that Henry leave. Lin Chuan, you've rested for so many days already. Why don't you go spend some time with your sister? She'd be at a disadvantage without you around. Henry frowned. I'm not going. She's an adult. Does she really need me to look after her? What are you talking about? Victoria is a young woman in the entertainment industry, which can be risky. As her brother, you should protect her. Who even said she's my sister? My real older sister is right here. She's just a stranger living off our family for years. Hasn't she had enough already? Seeing them start to argue, I stopped my mother from stepping in. We're all family. Let's just talk things through calmly. I pretended to mediate, but my words had no effect. Henry, have you been favoring her for so long? Don't you think that's enough? Zoe, why must you keep blaming Victoria? She's always been responsible and capable. What could you possibly have in common with her? You're still dependent on the family, and even if you want to enter the entertainment world later, won't you need your sister's help? Henry, I don't need her help. Years of suppressed frustration burst out in that moment, and Henry's voice rose sharply with emotion. Back then, everything good food, toys she always got to pick first. If she cried even once, you'd blame me. In high school, she lied about being bullied, so I stepped in to handle the situation, but you all turned on me, saying I was harassing classmates and bringing shame upon us. Later, you complained that I spent too much, then took away my allowance and gave it all to Victoria, but she's always gotten whatever she wanted. Never once were you upset about her being extravagant. You wouldn't let me go overseas with her, afraid I'd harm her abroad, but I've told you over and over I never hurt her. She's the one who lied about it. Why won't you believe me? It turned out Henry couldn't go abroad because of this. Slap. Zoe slapped him hard across the face. Henry, she's your sister. She's always been so kind to you. How could you be so cruel? You're just lazy and unambitious, refusing to work at your sister's place. My mom tried to ease the tension with a few words, but it was their family matter. She didn't want to get involved. I watched calmly from the side. Not eating popcorn was my last act of respect. Henry shoved her aside and rushed out the door. My mom hurried over to comfort Zoe, saying, "Don't be upset, kids argue sometimes. My two are always bickering too." Zoe felt dizzy with anger. I raised 3 children. My eldest is responsible and steady. My daughter is sweet and well-behaved. But this youngest son, he's useless. I can't help wondering if they accidentally switched him with Emily when he was born. Otherwise, how could I have such a child? Could it possibly be about parenting? Zoe was so furious she felt faint and went to lie down in her room. My mom had just heard the whole messy story about the Shin family. Left completely baffled, she sighed deeply and kept shaking her head in disbelief. It's such a mess. What an absolute chaos their family is. You and Leo may bicker sometimes, but nothing like the deep resentment in that family. I hugged her gently. Thanks to you and Dad raising us right. Look how peaceful our home is. My mom glanced at me again, a hint of relief flickering in her eyes. I can't say for sure who's right or wrong between those 2 kids, but often, conflicts between children stem from parents showing favoritism. Mother gently stroked my head and said softly, "If your birth parents ever treat you unfairly for the sake of another child, just tell us. Even if it means breaking ties with them, we'll never let you suffer that kind of hurt." Hearing those words, my throat tightened, and I gave a quiet hum in response. Memories from my past life flashed through my mind. If I had had parents back then, the Shin family wouldn't have dared treat me that way. Thankfully, this time around, they're all still alive. Thanks to my parents, I've become the happiest kid in the world. Henry stormed off in anger, and as his older sister, I had to go check on him. When I found him, I saw him kicking over a trash can by the roadside. Put it back up. He looked surprised. Sis, what are you doing here? Put it back up. I repeated. He obediently did as told, his voice trembling. I didn't mean to. I was just really upset. I softened my expression and said gently, no matter what, Auntie is still your mother. How could you talk to her like that? His eyes welled up, his voice filled with sorrow. She's not my mom at all. She only has eyes for Victoria. Your sister. Really treats you this way? Of course. He nodded firmly. She says she's an assistant, but really she just uses me as a target for her frustration. Whenever something goes wrong on set, she lashes out at me without warning. If I stand up for myself, she starts acting like the victim so everyone thinks I'm the one causing trouble. My expression softened with concern. You've been through a lot. Come back with me now. His eyes lit up with surprise. Do you really believe me? I gave a gentle smile. Of course. You're my own brother. After all, I went to find Zoe and asked if Henry could stay a little longer. She hesitated, as though she feared that if Henry didn't stay right away, something bad might happen to Victoria. No matter what life I've lived before, I've always admired how deeply she loves Victoria. She's different from everyone else in the Shen family. Her love for Victoria isn't driven by any goal or selfish motive. It comes purely from 20 years of shared time and connection. I had no choice but to call Franklin, which finally convinced Henry to stay. Henry was thrilled when he found out and trusted me even more as his sister. But in the days that followed, I began to pull away from him. I had already ordered a computer earlier. It was meant for him originally. The style and color were both chosen by him personally. Finally arrived. He opened the computer and gave it a quick test. Couldn't put it down. Emily. I hesitated, my voice full of inner struggle. What's wrong? Sis. His smile hadn't faded yet. Well, Leo made great progress on his last exam. I thought I'd give him this laptop first. His smile froze on his face. He's in senior year. I just want to encourage him to keep studying hard and aim for a good college. You're older than him, give it a little space. I'll get you a new one later. His expression eased a bit, though he clearly wasn't happy about it. Still he nodded. All right. How about this, since you've been wanting to get into showbiz? I know a classmate whose dad is a director. I'll see if I can help make an introduction. Really? Henry lit up with joy. Thanks, sis. No problem. I gave his shoulder a friendly pat. I did know someone in the film industry, but I wasn't about to push for a total beginner with no experience. I told Henry that on the weekend, I'd take him to meet the director. On that day, I left home early and didn't come back even after the agreed time. Henry called me. Sis, where are you? At that moment, I was just walking around the C University campus. Sorry, Lin Chuan. I totally forgot about your thing. I thought since it was rare for Leo to have free time, I'd bring him here to check out C University and get a feel for his future school. Maybe it'll help keep him motivated while studying. Henry's voice carried clear disappointment. But you promised me. Leo's in his final year. His situation is more urgent than yours. I'll take you next time. Not again. You said both Leo and I were your brothers. Enough. He's younger than you. What are you even arguing about? After saying that, I ended the call impatiently. Not long after, Leo came over, munching on a flatbread. Sis, let's switch schools. This place's cafeteria food is terrible. My distant attitude made Henry feel uneasy. He tried several times to talk things through with me, but I always brushed him off by saying I was too busy and not in the mood. That day, I finally reached out to him first. Lin Chuan, I'm free today, would you mind coming with me to run some errands? After enduring days of cold treatment, seeing me initiate conversation, he quickly nodded in agreement. Sure. I drove him to a restaurant. Let's eat first, I have a friend here too. Sister, is he your boyfriend? He tried to lighten the mood with a joke. My eyes held an unreadable expression. No, she's my girlfriend. Inside the private room, Camila was already waiting. Lin Chuan, this is my friend, Camila. Henry clearly didn't recognize her and still greeted warmly. Hi Camila, I'm Henry. Camila stayed seated, gave no reply, and simply stared at him coldly. So this is the younger brother you just brought back? Henry chuckled. Did my sister mention me to you? Suddenly, Camila stood up sharply and slapped Henry across the face. The blow carried full force, leaving a clear mark on Henry's cheek. She was dazed and looked at me with a desperate expression. Sister! Before she could finish speaking, she received another sharp slap. By the time Camila finished her third strike, I couldn't pretend to be unaware anymore. Camila, what's wrong with you? Camila asked. Henry, don't you remember me at all? I really don't. After all, he's hurt so many people. How could he possibly remember every single one? Yet how can someone who caused harm claim the right to forget? You might have forgotten, but I remember clearly you tore up my test papers, dumped food on my head, poured ink on my chair, and had someone drag me into an alley to hurt me. With each word she spoke, Henry's face grew paler. He might not remember Camila by name, but he knew deep down that he'd hurt many people before. Henry reached out frantically and grabbed my arm. Sister, it wasn't me. I coldly pulled away and stepped beside Camila, eyeing him with clear disgust. Camila is my friend. She wouldn't lie to me. He tried to reach out for Camila again. I'm sorry, Camila. I was just being immature back then. I can make it up to you. Please don't let me upset my sister. Okay, get out. The response was another sharp slap. I'd seen enough of the act. I spoke coldly. Henry, go back home for now. I need to talk with Camila alone. Sister, leave. He left reluctantly. I shut the private room door and turned to see Camila leaning back in her chair. That felt good. I let out a quiet laugh. This isn't over. I'm not letting him off the hook. The real drama is still waiting for tonight. When I got home, my parents weren't there. Perfect timing to let things unfold. I looked at Henry, who was clearly shaken, then turned to Zoe. Auntie, you can let him go now. He's not welcome here anymore. Zoe looked puzzled. Emily, what happened? Did this boy upset you? Sister. Henry was on the verge of tears. Don't call me sister. You forced my best friend to nearly take her own life. Was it just Camila? How many others did you hurt? Upon hearing that, Zoe suddenly understood everything. She grabbed Henry and gave him a firm reprimand. You little troublemaker. How could you turn out this way? I can't believe I raised such a son. And now you're hurting Emily's friend. Afterward, Zoe looked at me cautiously. Go ahead, I said with a quiet smile. I handed her a rolling pin, just in case she got tired from hitting him. Use this instead. Zoe's face froze, but she reluctantly swung the rolling pin at Henry. I stood there watching closely. How I wished Camila could see this too. After it was over, Zoe finally spoke softly. Emily dear, your brother really did wrong. But those events are in the past. He was already expelled back then. And we've also provided financial compensation to that girl. Lin Chuan has already faced consequences. After all, he's your own brother. You can't side with outsiders, can you? I spoke coldly. I don't care about blood ties. Compared to a friend I've known for years, what is a younger brother I only just met? And this was his fault all along. He hurt so many people. Was being expelled really enough? Can money truly make up for the pain others endured? Henry, Camila was the top scorer in that year's college entrance exam. Such a brilliant girl who happened to cross paths with you. You're someone with no discipline. And you nearly ruined an extraordinary life. Henry fell to his knees in front of me, tears streaming down his face. Sister, I know I'm wrong. Victoria's the one who tricked me. It's all her fault. Enough. I snapped, slapping him hard. You're still lying. Camila already told me everything. You were the one who led those people to hurt her. My mother was right all along. You're just a selfish, hateful person. And now you're trying to blame your own sister. I slowly shifted the conversation toward Victoria. I always thought Victoria was such a kind-hearted woman. How could she possibly be as terrible as you claim? You said she treated you harshly, but I think it's actually you who's been mistreating her. Henry, are you really someone who enjoys hurting others? After all the good I've done for you, Do you really plan to harm me too? Henry clung tightly to my leg, shaking his head rapidly. No. It's all Victoria's fault. Why won't you believe me and only listen to her? She's a cruel, deceitful woman. He seemed completely lost in his thoughts, muttering to himself while on the ground. It's all her fault. If it weren't for Victoria, I wouldn't have ended up like this. I would have been the one expelled, not her. I would have studied abroad, entered show business, and been praised by everyone. It's all her fault. It's all her fault. Ha! I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. You're still making excuses. Henry, you really are disgusting. After everything that's happened, how can Zoe even stay here? Annie, I don't want to see Henry ever again. I'm asking to have him removed. My parents are kind-hearted and probably wouldn't feel comfortable facing you after this. You should go back to the Shin family instead. It'd be easier for everyone involved. We tried to speak up, but I didn't let her finish. I didn't give her a chance. I had someone help her pack up and leave immediately. When my parents got back, I told them everything about Henry. Zoe couldn't stay any longer and left with her son. My parents were furious, partly because they were worried about Camila. They're both teachers, deeply concerned with education, and strongly opposed to bullying in schools. Dad waved his hand. I think Emily should stay away from the Shin family. They have poor values, and their parents bear a lot of responsibility. When a child makes a mistake, they don't correct them properly. Instead, they use their wealth and influence to cover it up, letting him get away with anything. Does that mean other children aren't important? Mom looked surprised. Henry seems so quiet and shy. He doesn't even act like someone who'd do something like this. I smirked. He wasn't always like that, thanks to Victoria. Things changed for him. People who do harm often end up facing consequences from someone worse than themselves. Zoe and Henry were gone. Now it was time to deal with my real father. Franklin cared deeply about his image and the family's reputation. In a past life, he favored Victoria first because she fit the image of a proper Shin family heiress. Second, it was because Victoria had an arranged engagement with the heir of the Fu family, and I was a child raised in an orphanage. My presence only brought shame to Franklin. The first time I attended a formal gathering, I felt nervous and awkward, drawing laughter from others. Afterward, instead of offering guidance or support, he struck me across the face. You're a disgrace. I don't have a daughter like you. That's why he showed clear favoritism toward Zoe and turned a blind eye to Henry's mistreatment. Later, when I proved my abilities while working at Shin Group, his attention and concern gradually began to grow. He introduced me to business partners with pride, saying, "This is my daughter." But by then, I no longer let such false displays of affection affect me. I wanted a share of the Shin Group's ownership. But he told me, "Emily, know your place." I was just someone working for him. When I decided to leave Shin Group, he wasn't ready to let go of the benefits I brought to the family. He said, "If you can no longer bring value to the Shin family, then settle down through marriage and secure our interests." Later, I failed a major project. Someone leaked the design plans in advance, causing serious losses to the company. Franklin knew full well that I wasn't the one who leaked the documents, but he still blamed me for it. "Emily, I only care about outcomes and benefits. I suspect someone leaked the design plans, but I don't have proof yet." Then I was taken hostage along with Victoria. I believe the person who framed me and the one who took me are the same individual. Their real target was only me. The kidnapping of Victoria was just a distraction. Who even does that? A kidnapper helping both hostages and forcing them to choose one. That's not making sense at all. Wouldn't he want extra ransom money from two people? He could get hold of the Shin Group's design documents and capture both of us at once. Most importantly, this person has a conflict of interest with me. Besides Nolan and Henry, I can't think of anyone else who fits. As for Henry, I have serious doubts about his reliability. Not long after Zoe left, Franklin reached out to me. In the restaurant, his expression was serious. "The Shin family can cut ties with Henry." "What?" I said, taken aback. He was dead serious. "I won't give him any financial support anymore. If you want to take action against him, I won't stop you. Ha, thought he'd come begging for mercy. That makes sense, just like Franklin to act this way. He's your own son, I said with a sarcastic tone. He shrugged casually. Emily, you're quite clever. Just a few small moves and you managed to create tension between Linchuan and Victoria. Do they even still have feelings for each other? I asked back. My phone pushed out a celebrity news alert. A rising star, Victoria, was accused of mistreating newcomers. Victoria allegedly attacked her assistant. Victoria was said to have caused serious harm to another actress. Each report came with photos and several clear videos, leaving her no chance to explain or defend herself. It wasn't hard to figure out who was behind this. It had to be Henry. And it wasn't surprising I'd finally pushed him far enough. I turned to Franklin. You've known about Henry all along, haven't you? About everything he's endured unfairly. About Victoria's constant mistreatment and physical aggression toward him. Just like in a past life, he chose to stay detached and silent. Franklin spoke coldly. It's his own fault for not doing better. He wasn't here to talk about family bonds today. From the moment I removed Zoe and the others from the Lin family, he realized that discussing family bonds with me was pointless. So he no longer tried to play the role of a caring father. You're far more capable than those three. Morning Sun has grown into such a strong company in just 3 years. Its potential is limitless. If you hadn't been taken away by the nanny all those years ago, I would have shaped you into an outstanding heir. I don't believe you. My answer came too quickly and too bluntly, causing a flicker of unease across Franklin's expression. He pulled out a new share transfer agreement. Then I can promise it right now. I didn't even glance at it. Franklin, I'm not foolish. What exactly does Shen Group have left to offer me? Youth should think ahead. The Shen and Fu families are working together on a major project. Once this succeeds, the Shen Group can be revived completely. His tone was firm. This partnership was clearly arranged by Victoria. What's the catch? You can't possibly give this to me for free. I need 5 million in funding. 5 million? I was shocked. Franklin, I've built my company from nothing. Giving you all this cash will leave me with no working capital at all. How can I keep running my business? He looked calm. There's no need to worry. If the project succeeds, funds will come back fast. Your money will be returned right away. In time, the entire Shun Group will belong to you. Another empty promise? I shook my head. No, I'm not accepting it. He looked puzzled. How can you be worried about this? If the project succeeds, funds will flow back immediately. Money will be yours right away. In the future, the entire Shun Group will belong to you. I tilted my lips slightly. It's not that I'm unsatisfied. It's just that I don't trust you. What if you betray me? You? Franklin was visibly agitated. Just kidding. I quickly interrupted. I'm not partnering with you because, well, I'm a good socialist youth who firmly opposes any involvement with illegal activities. The next moment, the phone rang, dampening Franklin's rising anger once more. I pointed at my phone. I know you're upset, but please hold on a second. After hanging up, he glanced at me with disbelief. Emily, was this you? No. I chuckled softly. It was you. In no time, the news about Shun Group's tax evasion will spread everywhere. Everyone will see that Franklin, so successful and respected, is actually a hypocrite beneath the surface. Emily. He slammed the table. I'm your father. My real father is Clark. He taught me to follow laws, be disciplined, and stay honest. As for you, I gave him a cold glance. I don't have a disgraceful father like you. I anonymously reported Shin Group, and the evidence was indeed handed over to the tax authority by me. I don't care about taking anything from the Shin family, but I'm not planning to leave them anything either. Franklin is selfish and ruthless. He doesn't value family bonds. He even abandoned his own son without hesitation. I'll ruin the career he's proud of, and take away the reputation he values most. Franklin will face legal consequences. Victoria's past scandals are still online, and Henry can't withstand any further pressure. At this critical moment, Nolan, the current core figure of the Shun family, has disappeared without a trace. The Fu Group pulled out their investment and ended their partnership with the Shin Group. With so much tax debt, the Shin family had no choice but to turn to Victoria for help. Victoria gave them a cold reception. Zoe and Henry went straight to the Fu Group building in protest, only to be escorted out by security. Zoe tried to find me several times, but was always turned away at the door. When my parents found out, they sighed and chose not to get involved. My dad questioned me closely and told me, "A gentleman may desire wealth, but must obtain it through proper means." I sighed. "Dad, I've already paid my taxes. With everything falling apart like this, I expected Nolan to come looking for me. After all, Franklin isn't around. Nolan is the one running things in the Shin family now." But instead, I ended up meeting Victoria first. Victoria, the one who took my identity from birth. The root of all my suffering over 20 years ago. I never thought I'd finally meet her now. I've taken revenge on Franklin, Zoe Henry, and the Shin family company, but I've never gone after her. The dirt on her now was actually orchestrated by Henry. I deliberately encouraged it. Though, do I not hate her? Of course I do. But compared to her, I hate those who share my blood the most. In my past life, those years when Victoria took my place, I may have resented it deeply, but there was nothing I could do about. After returning to the Shin family, Victoria initially had only small ambitions. She was testing how the Shin family members would react. Their gradual tolerance gave Victoria the confidence to harm me. She just had a few tears, and my closest family members turned against me, blaming me, scolding me, even hitting me. She'd make up any lie, and everyone in my family believed her instantly. It wasn't hard for them to uncover the truth, yet they all blamed me without hesitation. If only they had truly loved me, I might never have gone through such suffering. Victoria was just the one who handed them the knife. Then those so-called family members tore pieces off my heart on their own. I hate Victoria, but I hate them even more. 1,000 times over. "You're Emily?" Victoria appeared well-dressed and polished, her eyes filled with arrogance and disdain. "That's me." She gave a cold smile. "Nothing special. Really. I heard my older brother say you're quite capable. I looked into your company, and compared to Fu family, which has been around for decades, yours still has a long way to go." I let out a soft laugh. "So that's all you're trying to say, I'm not good enough, and never will be." She nodded. "That's the truth. What gives you the confidence to say that? Is it because of all your past issues? I have Fu family behind me. What kind of resources could I possibly lack? And even if I weren't an entertainer, I could still step back and live as a wealthy wife in high society. Emily, you have no idea how much I hate you," she said, her eyes filled with bitter resentment. "Hate me? I didn't understand. Even if you took my place, I never once thought about reclaiming any of this. Why should you hate me? Why are you the real daughter of Shin family while I'm just an imposter? Why wasn't it me born into that family? Since I was 16, every single day has been filled with fear, afraid you'd come back at any moment. Even after my parents learned the truth, they kept saying they'd treat me as their own daughter. But deep down, they've always been thinking about you." I wasn't in the mood to argue with her. People like her are never satisfied no matter how much they get. "Blame me," I said, deliberately provoking. "Good luck with life, what's your excuse? You were born to a nanny. You didn't keep the secret safe. And yet they still remember me." She opened her mouth, her lips turning pale. "Even if you reclaim your place in the Shin family now, it's too late. Had you come back years ago, you might have lived like a wealthy daughter. But now the Shin family has nothing left. While I'm still the young mistress of the Fu family. Is that your reason for helping your husband's family harm your own? Stealing Shin Group secrets, blocking Shin family projects, luring away key leaders from Shin Group step by step. You've been paving the way for Andrew. You really do care deeply about him," Victoria said nervously. "I have no idea what you're talking about." My expression stayed calm. "If I know these things, it means I've found proof." She stared in silence for a long moment before regaining her composure. "So what if you know? I'm determined to destroy the Shin family before you return. No matter how much of a blood relative you are, you'll get nothing from it. I shrugged. It doesn't matter to me anyway. I'm not the one losing anything. Her brows tightened. What do you mean? You're not planning to go back to the Shen family? She thought I was going to return as a ruined heiress, so that's why she came here showing off? I didn't answer further. I saved the recording and stood up to leave. This life. I don't plan to do anything to Victoria. I'd rather watch her suffer the consequences of her own choices. Ever since reuniting with the Shen family, I've been having someone quietly keep an eye on their movements. Now that such a major event has happened to the Shen family, Nolan hasn't reached out to me at all. Something's off. Something feels off. I can't track his whereabouts. Go stay in the dorm for a while. I told Leo. Why? Boarding students have evening study sessions. You'll get more practice done. I can study just as well at home. Just go. No questions. I'm not going. I don't sleep well in dorms. I gave him a sharp look. Still sleeping. Don't you remember you're in your senior year? How can you even relax like this? Emily, you're not trying to get rid of me so you can claim the family's 3 acres all by yourself, are you? I said. I'll pay you. He flashed a sly smile and bowed slightly. Got it, Emily. After sending Leo off, I arranged for my parents to take a trip abroad to relax. They weren't eager at first. I said, I'm going on a business trip to pitch a project. What if the Shen family shows up? How would you handle them? My parents didn't like that family, but because of my blood ties to them, they couldn't make things too awkward, so it was better to stay away for now. I couldn't possibly tell them about my second chance at life. It's too unbelievable, and they'd never believe me. I've arranged bodyguards near the school and around my parents' place. Thinking back to being kidnapped in my past life, I still feel that dizzying sense of falling off a cliff, along with the sharp ache of breaking bones. The Lin family villa has been empty for too long. It needs someone to live there. I brought Zoe and Henry back home. In the living room, Henry was huddled in the corner, clearly still uneasy about facing me. Zoe looked worn and tired, her face marked with dried tears. Emily, please help your father. We've mortgaged the old house already, but we still don't have enough money. I didn't respond to his plea and instead asked straight away, where's Nolan? Zoe. Your older brother is also trying to find a way to raise money. Where did he go? I asked impatiently. Not sure. He said he went abroad to visit a friend. Abroad? When exactly? Just about 3 days ago. My heart skipped a beat. My parents left around the same time. I steadied myself and asked, what's really going on? Victoria wasn't your top priority. She's always been so kind. How could she refuse to help? Don't bring her up. She's not one of us by blood. And no matter how well we raised her, she still turned her back on us. We gave her a lavish dowry and treated her like royalty. Yet she refused to lend us even a small amount. I shot them a frustrated look. Even if I'm not close to you all, Victoria did benefit from the Shun family's resources. She should at least step in and help. How could she act like this? Henry snapped at Zoe. I've told you 100 times, she's nothing but cruel. You just wouldn't believe me. Zoe said quietly. It's too late to talk about it now. She grabbed my hand tightly, as if holding on to the last thread of hope. Emily, please help us. If we get through this crisis, we'll make it up to you. We can rebuild our bond and grow closer over time. I gently pulled my hand away. I really want to help, but I don't have that kind of money. The Lin family isn't wealthy, and my company's only just started. Where would I even get such a large sum? What do we do now? Henry muttered darkly. Don't drag my sister down. You're the ones who trusted Victoria so blindly. This is your own fault. Victoria reached out to me once, I said, pulling out the recording from before. I never thought she'd cause such damage to the Shin family. My conversation with Victoria played aloud. I carefully edited my own words before playing the recording. Victoria admitted directly, she had been working step by step to bring down Shin Group, all for Andrew's sake. Zoe broke down completely. Henry's face twisted with cold fury. I'm going to kill that woman. Enough. I interrupted them. You can't even see her right now. Don't overestimate yourselves. I let out a soft sigh. I'll figure something out. The Shin family's villa and ancestral home had both been pledged as collateral. I told them to stay here with peace of mind. Henry looked at me with heartfelt emotion, as if I were still his kind older sister. Zoe seemed to have found a source of strength and settled in my home, trusting that I would resolve everything for her. That day, I received a call from an unknown number. "I hear you've been looking for me?" His voice was no longer gentle and calm. It had turned low, cold and sharp. Damn, he really knew how to hide. I stayed silent for a long while, then whispered, "Nolan, little sister, you seem to always manage to get through things just fine. Every time." "What do you mean?" My throat tightened. He let out a quiet laugh. "You've been reborn too, haven't you?" I took a deep breath. "Where are you?" Even now, he still wasn't planning to show himself. Country. "So, you're going to kidnap me again like last time? And now target my parents? Heh, if I don't take you this time, who else is going to help me get the money? Even if you get the money, the Shin group is already done. Kidnapping's illegal, and you won't be able to rise again." He let out a cold laugh. "Who said I even want to go back?" I understood. "You really are just like your father. No wonder he chose you as heir." "Nolan, why did you hurt me in the past life? I've already suffered so much before. What did I ever do to anyone?" I was finally strong enough to break free from the Shin family and build my own path. "Then you ended up killing me. Emily, I can't stand that indifferent attitude of yours," he said through clenched teeth. That sounded familiar, almost like every single person in the Shin family had told me something similar before. "You could be like Victoria, just enjoy being a princess. Or stay like Henry. No one would care either way. I could have been a good brother, to protect you the same way I do them. The Shin family's wealth is more than enough for you to live however you want. But you had to fight me every step of the way. You want to take my place in the Shin group. I couldn't close deals that you easily handled. I'm truly envious of you. Father's paying more attention to you every day. So don't blame me for being harsh." I suddenly couldn't hold back my laughter, tears welling up in my eyes. Think about what I went through in my past life. Victoria was jealous because I'm the real heir. But in truth, the Shin family only loved her, the fake one. Henry envied me for doing well in school, even though he never studied and still got to live like a spoiled young master. Nolan was jealous that Franklin noticed me, though his father only ever used me as a pawn. I was suffering far more than any of them, yet they still came at me with jealousy. They just won't stop until I'm completely broken. "Nolan, I need 100 million. Transfer it to this overseas account within 5 days, or you'll never see your parents again. After all, you don't want to lose them twice, do you?" He's even greedier than his father. Where am I supposed to get that kind of money from? Do you really think I run a bank? If the money isn't enough, sell your house and stocks. If that's still not enough, don't forget, you've got company shares too. His tone was smug. I sneered. "Nolan, when did I ever say my parents are in country? You did trick me, but I never said I found them there. If you want them alive, send the money on time." Nolan ended the call. I quickly checked on my parents in Leo, and only breathed a sigh of relief when I confirmed they were safe. Back at the Lin family mansion, Zoe and Henry were nowhere to be found. The house was in disarray. The guards had been injured, and police officers had already arrived. The kidnappers were working for Nolan, but Nolan himself was abroad. They even failed to video call each other after capturing the person. I sent the recent call recording to the police and told them about his blackmail attempt. The officers found it hard to understand what was going on with this family, but the truth remained. The mastermind behind the kidnapping was from the Shin family, and the person taken was also a member of the Shin family. I explained. After all, they're a high-profile family. Just trust me on this. A few days ago, I did take my parents to the airport, but they never boarded a plane, nor did they leave the country. Nolan had flown overseas for nothing, while at that exact time I had brought Zoe and Henry here instead. That's how the misunderstanding happened. As for where my parents actually went, they're back in our hometown, working the land. After my grandparents passed away, The 3 acres of farmland at home had been left untended and overgrown. On the 5th day, I received a call from an unknown number. After answering, I first heard Zoe and Henry calling for help. Zoe's voice was hoarse from crying. "Emily, Mom knows she was wrong." "I'm sorry, Emily." My hand tightened slightly. Was she finally remembering too? "Big sister, we didn't ignore you. We're sorry, it's Victoria. She's the one who..." An unfamiliar male voice cut through their cries. "Emily, is the money ready?" My mind was still caught in what Zoe and Henry had said. I didn't respond right away. It's better if they remember. That way, I can finally feel justified taking my revenge. Why should only I be the one to carry all that pain? "Hello? Are you dead? Speak up, damn it." My throat felt dry as I spoke softly. "I want to say something to them." There was a pause on the other end. "Emily, it's Mom. Please help me." "Annie," I interrupted her. "My parents are missing too, and I can't just walk away from them." "Emily, Victoria has been taken as well. We can't ignore her safety. Don't blame me for this. Please don't blame us." The crying on the other end stopped abruptly. I ended the call without hesitation. Even though Victoria hurt me before, what really made me feel wronged wasn't her. After all, she was just an outsider. But they're all my family. I sent the phone recording to the police and cooperated fully with their investigation. I don't care if they're safe or not, but I have to help solve this case. Nolan was brought back home and went to see his father. After all, he's her son. Zoe didn't want to press charges at first, but Henry wasn't willing to let it go. Thanks to Henry's ongoing revelations, Victoria stepped away from the entertainment industry. The 3 children raised by the Shun family ultimately turned against each other in bitter conflict. How could favoritism fail to breed resentment? This time around, I never acted against Victoria. First, I was focused on dealing with the other members of the Shun family. Second, she was simply too careless to be worth my attention. Though I despised the Shun family, I had to admit they were Victoria's strongest support system. Now that the Shun family has fallen, I wonder if the Fu family would still accept a wife with such a damaged reputation. As for Andrew, whose family would truly support someone who worked so hard to ruin their father-in-law's house? 2 months later, I learned of Victoria's passing. It was Henry who did it. He was a reckless man in his past life, and 2 lifetimes of hatred were more than enough to end Victoria's life. Andrew had him locked up, determined to seek justice for his late wife, earning himself widespread respect in the process. Zoe came looking for me several times, only to find we'd already moved out. How she lives from now on has nothing to do with me. "Sister, come blow out the candles." Leo had just received his acceptance letter and was hosting a celebration for his new school. Amid the congratulations from relatives and friends, my mom was saying modest words, but her smile couldn't stay in check. My dad had a bit too much to drink, hugging both of us, one arm around me, the other around Leo. I've taught many outstanding students over the years, but the ones I'm most proud of are my 2 kids right here. "Hey, Uncle Second, let's open another bottle," Leo grumbled. "Still ended up at C University. Their food's terrible. Why don't you donate a cafeteria to the school?" I gave him an exasperated look and said, "Go away.